DiJonai, Carrington, and Marina Mabrey just received a taste of their own medicine.
The steal, Carrington takes it all the way.
Is Kennedy Carter. That looks like it hurt.
But let's rewind a little further, because this foul and what followed was more than just a hard play on the court. It was karma catching up to them in the most satisfying way. You see, this was the moment justice was served for what Carrington and Marina Mabrey did to Caitlyn Clark earlier in the season. Remember when Carrington poked Caitlyn Clark in the eye during Game 1 of the first-round playoff matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun? It was just 90 seconds into the game. Clark, the star rookie sensation of the Fever, hit the ground in pain, and it was no ordinary fall. The foul was clear as day. Carrington's hand connected straight to Clark's face, leaving her visibly hurt.
With no whistle. Now there's nothing Indiana.
But what happened next was even worse. Carrington had the audacity to laugh about it. She shared a moment of mockery with her teammate Marina Mabrey, making light of Clark's pain as if it were some inside joke. This wasn't just an isolated moment either. A few weeks later, Carrington was at it again, this time on Instagram Live with her girlfriend and Indiana Fever teammate, Nalissa Smith. With a smile on her face, Carrington reenacted the infamous eye poke in a joking manner.
Ow! Oh, I'm sorry. You poked me in the eye.
It was playful maybe, but for Caitlyn Clark fans, it was a slap in the face, metaphorically speaking. It was a reminder that the disrespect Carrington had shown on the court wasn't just an accident. It was intentional. And then, Marina Mabrey added fuel to the fire. Just days after Carrington's poke, Mabrey went in for a block during Game 2 and delivered a harsh blow to Clark's face.
She touches the basketball. That's what Burton did there. All over Caitlyn going inside.
You can see how bad it was from the picture. It was so bad that even the commentator couldn't stay silent. "That's a foul," they exclaimed, shocked that the referees missed what was clearly a flagrant move. Fans took to social media to express their outrage, calling out the injustice. Many argued that if this had happened in the NBA, it would have been an automatic flagrant foul, no questions asked. But as they say, what goes around comes around. Fast forward to Game 2 of the semifinals, where DiJonai Carrington found herself driving to the basket, ready to score. But Kayla McBride had other plans. In a moment that can only be described as poetic, McBride delivered a hard foul on Carrington, sending her crashing to the floor. Let's see a replay of the action.
The steal, Carrington takes it all the way.
It was a heavy hit, so much so that the crowd gasped, and for a brief moment, time seemed to stand still. Carrington, the same player who mocked Clark just weeks before, was now at the receiving end of a brutal foul. Justice, it seemed, had finally been served. But it didn't end there. Just moments after this intense clash, Marina Mabrey, Carrington's partner in crime, found herself on the wrong side of fate too. As she defended against McBride, trying to make a play, McBride's elbow connected with her in a way that made everyone in the arena wince. Mabrey, much like Carrington earlier, was sent sprawling, staying down for a few moments longer than usual. Fans couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction, instant karma for what she had done to Clark. But karma wasn't finished with Marina Mabrey yet. In a later game, Mabrey was involved in yet another incident, this time with Chicago Sky guard Kennedy Carter. Carter, a known fierce competitor, didn't hold back and delivered a hard smack to Mabrey, sending her to the ground once again.
Is Kennedy Carter. That looks like it hurt.
Mabrey stayed down, visibly shaken, as Carter received a flagrant foul for her actions. But for Clark fans, it was yet another moment of redemption. Mabrey, who had gotten away with her foul on Clark earlier in the season, was now paying the price for her actions. It's one thing to see a player make a mistake, but it's another to watch them get away with it without facing the consequences. That's why these moments were so crucial. They weren't just about fouls or basketball plays, they were about justice. Caitlyn Clark, who had been on the receiving end of cheap shots and dirty plays, was no longer around in the playoffs, but the echoes of her impact could still be felt. And while Carrington and Mabrey may have thought they got away with their antics, the basketball gods had other plans. Now let's talk about the Caitlyn Clark effect for a moment because, well, we just can't stop talking about it. Even though her rookie season with the Indiana Fever ended in the first round of the playoffs, she made waves. Big ones. She was, without a doubt, the most electrifying rookie the WNBA had seen in years. and fans couldn't get enough. We're talking 2.5 million viewers for her last game. That's a lot of eyeballs. It's like she turned the WNBA into a must-see TV overnight. But then, just like that, the Fever gets knocked out of the playoffs. Cue the sad trombone. Without Clark, the WNBA playoffs suddenly felt like they were missing something. You know, like a burger without the patty. It's still technically a burger, but it's not nearly as satisfying. The numbers prove it. According to reports, Game 1 of the WNBA Finals between the Minnesota Lynx and the New York Liberty drew in 1.1 million viewers. A solid number, no doubt, but it was a sharp decline from the fever pitch excitement that Caitlyn Clark had generated just weeks earlier. There's little question that if Clark and the Fever had made it to the finals, those numbers would have skyrocketed. It's clear that the Caitlyn Clark effect is real. She wasn't just a rookie sensation. She was a player who brought excitement, energy, and a fresh narrative to the league. And for her fans, seeing players like Carrington and Mabrey get their comeuppance felt like a small piece of justice in a season that ended too soon for Clark. Every time Carrington or Mabrey hit the floor, you could almost hear Clark fans cheering from their couches. It was like watching instant karma in action, served up with a side of popcorn and a large soda. Was Clark actually there to see all this go down? Nah. She was probably at home, chilling, maybe working on her jump shot in the driveway. But her fans? They were eating this up like it was the last slice of pizza at a party. In the end, the 2023 WNBA season wasn't just about who won or lost. It was about Caitlyn Clark showing up, shaking things up, and then watching from afar as karma did its thing. It was proof that what goes around comes around, sometimes at the speed of a fast break. So, here's to Caitlyn Clark. She may not have won the championship, but she won the season in her own way. She brought in the viewers, stirred up some drama, and inadvertently set the stage for some cosmic basketball justice. And to Carrington and Mabrey, well, let's just say they learned a valuable lesson. In basketball, as in life, it's all fun and games until you're the one picking yourself up off the court. The moral of the story? Don't mess with Caitlyn Clark. Because even when she's not playing, the game has a funny way of evening the score. And that, folks, is the Caitlyn Clark effect, changing the game, one karmic slam dunk at a time. Now, the story of Clark's revenge isn't over. In the link below, check out how Caitlyn Clark herself showed another WNBA bully who the boss is. Thanks for watching.